Hi everyone. It is Monday, May 4th, 2020, and in science this week we are going to talk about how living things depend on other things, how they depend on other living things, how they depend on non-living things. But today we are going to know how all living things depend on a habitat to meet its needs for water, food, and shelter. So let's read that together. I will know how all living things depend on a habitat to meet its needs for water, food, and shelter. Let's start first by going over some vocabulary. Okay, the first word here is shelter. So we know that shelter, you see this bird here, this is his shelter. It's protection from the outside. We have shelter, we live in homes, that is our shelter. This is this bird's shelter here. Then we have the word depend. That means to rely on or a need. I depend on my car to drive me and get me to work. You depend on your mom and dad, grandma, grandpa to take care of you, to feed you, to clothe you, to get you to school. So it's when you rely on or you need. Survive, the things that we need to stay alive. Then we have the word food chain. Food chain means how the energy goes from one living thing to another. So for example, this tree to this, it looks like it might be some sort of like maybe field mouse or rat, this eagle, and then this right here, can't tell what that is. Oh my goodness. So anyway, so it's how energy goes from one living thing to another. That is what we call the food chain. Then we have habitat. That's a place where an animal or plant lives. So habitat can also be like, for example, we might be thinking shelter and habitat, aren't they the same? Well, our shelter to stay for protection from the outside for us would be our home. If it's raining, windy, cold, we might take shelter in our home, but our habitat is also where we live. Our habitat could be our neighborhood. Our shelter is our home, okay? And so now that we've gone over those, we're going to go on a virtual nature walk to see how living things depend on its habitat to survive. You are going to click on the Discovery Education link. Now, parents, if this link does not take you to the video, then you will just simply go into your My Class links. You'll click on Discovery Education, and then you can go up to the top to the assigned videos, and you can pull up the video from there. Now, the video that we are watching is introducing our habitat. So if you click on the link and it doesn't take you or gives you an error and asks you to log in, just go into back to the Google Classroom, or not Google Classroom, sorry, but to your My Class links page like this. Click on Discovery Education. That should open up, and then you can click up to the top where you have your assigned videos, and you can pull up the video that way. So class, once you watch the video, I want you to be thinking as you're watching the video, I want you to be thinking about how are some of these animals or plants depending on its habitat to survive. So remember, when we said habitat is a place where an animal or a plant lives. Okay, so as you're listening, I want you to think about how are maybe an animal in this video, how is it depending on its habitat, where it lives to survive? Or maybe a plant, how is a plant depending on its habitat to survive? When we think about that, I want you to think about food and shelter. How is it helping? So once you have watched the video, then I want you to open up your journal page, and you're going to just title it Habitats, put your date, then you're going to start with I learned, and you're going